On draft night, we watch the top picks hold up their new jerseys while smiling for the camera. But later in the draft, there are dozens of players who just fade away. The 56th pick in the draft is always practically a ghost pick. It's a name called so late in the night that most people have already tuned out by the time it gets called out. It's usually nothing more than a ticket to a team's tryout, maybe a training camp invite, or if you're lucky, a spot in their G League team. Historically, players taken this late have been long-term projects, gambles that almost never pay off. The 56th pick isn't supposed to be a big deal, but every so often a player comes along and just rips that script in half. A player so overlooked that he forces the entire league to turn its head and ask, how did we all miss that? This is the story of how Will Richard went from a complete nobody to a starter for the Golden State Warriors in less than 20 games, and how he's already doing things that we usually only see from top draft picks.
Minutes of game action.
As the 2025 NBA draft was winding down, the big names had already gone, and the big analytical sports shows were already busy handing out their draft grades. But with the 56th overall pick, acquired from Memphis in exchange for the 59th pick in that same draft, the Golden State Warriors selected Will Richard, a shooting guard from the University of Florida. The announcement was met with a collective shrug. Casual fans had no idea who he even was. Even die-hard college basketball followers barely knew his name. He wasn't some massively hyped up prospect. He was a solid, fundamental player who started his basketball career at Vermont before transferring to Florida. There he played a key role in the Florida Gators' surprising 2025 NCAA National Championship run, even leading the team in scoring in the title game victory over Houston. But on paper, he was just another name at the bottom of the draft board. At the time, the consensus was that Richard was at best a solid candidate for the Warriors G League team in Santa Cruz. Skeptics pointed to his seemingly average athleticism and his skinny build, questioning if his game could really translate to the NBA. In a league full of physical freaks, Will Richard looked like a player whose ceiling felt more like a solid career overseas. The Warriors, however, saw something totally different. So what made the Warriors use their final pick on a player nobody else wanted? It's simple. The Warriors front office has built a dynasty by seeing value in players when other teams don't. While other scouts were chasing raw potential, the Warriors front office were looking for someone with a game that could easily translate to the NBA. Advanced models showed Will Richard ranked in the elite percentiles for shooting efficiency and smart decision making. They saw a player who rarely made mistakes, who understood spacing, who could fit right into the Warriors system and understand how to play with their other high-level scorers in Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, while also being a player who knows how to play a brand of winning basketball that doesn't always light up the box score. The scouting team saw a player who thrived in two different systems, first with Vermont and then with Florida, proving his adaptability. They saw a competitor with a crazy work ethic. In a pre-draft workout, Richard reportedly shocked the coaching staff not with crazy dunks, but with perfect footwork on every shot and relentless focus on defense. The Warriors have a history of finding gems late in the draft, with them finding players such as Draymond Green at pick 35, Monte Ellis at pick 40, and Trace Jackson Davis at pick 57. They believe in their system and their eye for talent. In Will Richard, they didn't see a project, they saw a player ready to contribute right from day one. They saw an opportunity to steal one of the most NBA ready and well-rounded players in the entire draft. And well, we have seen how that opportunity turned out. The road from being a late second round pick to an NBA rotation player and then eventually a starter is a brutal one. It's a non-stop audition through summer league, training camp and preseason. Most players picked in the late second round become overwhelmed by the sheer speed and complexity of the NBA game. They make mental errors. They struggle to keep up with the pace of an NBA roster, meaning they quickly find themselves on the outside looking in. That was the path everyone expected Will Richard to go down, but clearly he had other plans. From day one in the Warriors facility, it was obvious he was different. He showed up to camp in phenomenal shape, and his adjustment to the NBA pace was almost seamless. While other rookies were a step behind, Will Richard was a step ahead, with him always making the right read, the right pass, or the right defensive rotation time after time, again and again. Coaches were blown away by his basketball IQ. He wasn't just running plays, he was able to understand why he was running them. He rarely got beat on defense and almost never took a bad shot. His new teammates quickly learned that if you were open, the ball was coming straight to you, right where you wanted it. He wasn't flashy, he just made the right decision every single time. As preseason wrapped up, the chatter about him being a lock for the G League started to fade. He wasn't just a camp body anymore. He had proven he belonged on a 15-man NBA roster. The Warriors began the 2025-26 season with Richard on the end of the rotation, mostly getting minutes in garbage time towards the end of games. Despite playing in garbage time, when he did get an opportunity to play, he did his job by hitting open threes and playing solid defense without turning the ball over. Then injuries to a few key players in the Warriors rotation opened a window of opportunity for Will. The team needed a spark, and the coaching staff decided to give this new rookie a real shot. On November 5th, 2025, in his first career start against the Sacramento Kings, Will Richard exploded for 30 points, shooting with efficiency that left everyone completely stunned. He was hitting catch-and-shoot threes, scoring on smart cuts to the basket, and calmly knocking down free throws like it was nothing. There was no wasted game time, no forced shots. It was a masterclass in efficiency from a guy who had barely played 100 total minutes in his entire NBA career. That game wasn't a fluke. It was a sign of things to come. Over the next 2 weeks, Richard became an essential piece for the Warriors, consistently posting shooting splits that would be considered elite for a 10-year veteran, let alone a rookie who was taken with the 56th pick. The league was officially on notice. Fans were buzzing, and every game became a must-watch event to see what the rookie from Florida would do next. If you're enjoying this incredible underdog story, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the NBA's rising stars. After just 15 games, the experiment was over. Will Richard was officially a starter for the Golden State Warriors. It was a rise no one predicted. Players picked with the 56th pick in the draft are supposed to be fighting for two-way contracts and an NBA opportunity if they are really lucky. Not starting for an NBA team less than a month into their rookie season, he forced his way into the lineup with pure performance, making it impossible for the coaches to send him back to the bench. His fit within the Warriors system is flawless, and his elite off-ball movement and quick release make him a nightmare for opposing defenses. He creates space for the team's stars without ever needing the ball, and his high basketball IQ allows him to fit perfectly into any lineup. Even the questions about his athleticism have faded, as he's proven to be a disciplined and intelligent defender capable of holding his own against talented NBA guards. His versatility is his best trait. He can be a floor spacing shooter alongside the primary playmakers, or can act as a secondary ball handler for other lineups. The Warriors didn't just find another shooter. They found a complete two-way player who makes everyone around him better. Will Richard's story is just getting started, but his debut has been historic. He has shattered every possible expectation for a late second round pick. In a league where your draft number so often dictates the amount of opportunity you receive, Will Richard has proven that talent, intelligence, and hard work can rewrite the rules. While it's still early, the big questions are already being asked, such as, is he the next great draft steal in a franchise famous for them? Could he be a future building block for the next era of Warriors basketball? Even if he never becomes an all-star, his floor is already solid and will keep him in the NBA for years to come. Something that would be a good outcome for a top 10 pick, let alone for the 56th pick. pick. The journey from an unknown name at the end of the draft to a starting guard for the Golden State Warriors in 15 games is one of the most improbable rises the league has seen in years. The question isn't if Will Richard belongs anymore. The only question is how high can the ceiling be for one of the best draft steals we've ever seen. But what do you think? Do you think Will Richard will go on to become an all-star, or will he fade away as the season progresses? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more NBA content. Thanks for watching and goodbye.